Young and Restless early spoilers October 20th to 24th. Sally fights back and Nick's raging fury. As we always do on early edition day, we start with what is going to happen the rest of this week, and then we're going to talk about what's ahead next week, so you have the context for all those spoilers. Young and the Restless. Claire Grace Newman rejects Kyle Abbott's apology in emotional showdown. Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, heads to Los Angeles to win back Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron. He shows up at her hotel with flowers, smiling, but she's not happy to see him. Kyle confesses that Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, told him where to find her, and Claire doesn't like that at all. Still, he insists he's there to protect her from Holden Novak, Nathan Owens. Claire pushes back hard. She told Kyle she needed time and space, but there he is again. When he asks her out for that night, she refuses, saying she already has plans with Holden. When Kyle keeps pressing, Claire makes it clear she's made her choice. Holden shows up, and Kyle demands he leave them alone. Claire reluctantly gives Kyle a few minutes while Holden waits downstairs. Kyle opens up about his heartbreak, upset that Claire dumped him and ran off with Holden. Claire shrugs, reminding him she asked for breathing room, but he kept trying to control her. His behavior only reinforces why she left. Kyle insists he loves her, but Claire says she needs to find herself, and can't do that under his watchful eye. Young and the Restless. Noah Newman's devastating car crash rocks Genoa City. Meanwhile, back in Genoa City, Victoria tells Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic, about Noah Newman's Lucas Adams car crash. Nate plans a large donation to University Hospital in honor of his late brother. Victoria also regrets giving Kyle Claire's location. Back in LA, Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, tells Nick their son Noah suffered serious injuries, facial and skull damage. After surgery, Noah pulls through, but his parents are shaken. Sharon is distraught that another of her children has been hurt, after Cassie and Faith's accidents. They can't understand why Noah was all the way out in Malibu so late at night. Nick recalls Noah seeming nervous the last time they talked. When they finally see him, his face is completely bandaged. Young and the Restless. Detective Burrow debuts as new mystery unfolds. On Thursday, October 16th, Sharon and Nick cross paths with a mysterious stranger, Detective Burrow, Matt Cohen, who's investigating Noah's crash. Meanwhile, Mariah Copeland, Cameron Grimes, is stunned by a surprise visit from Tessa Porter, Kate Fairbanks, at the mental health facility where she's receiving treatment on Young and the Restless. Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, decides to handle matters personally and confronts Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, about his dangerous AI project. On Friday, October 17th, Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver, faces a painful reminder of her past. It could involve Nate, Amy Lewis, Valerie Pettiford, or even Holden. At the same time, Nick continues digging for the truth behind Noah's crash, while Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, tries to mend fences with Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson. Young and the Restless. Kane's AI threat and Kyle Abbott's anger boil over. For the week of October 20th through the 24th, Kyle returns home from LA and lashes out at Audra, blaming her for everything, including Claire's exit with Holden. Meanwhile, Victor Newman, Eric Braden, Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, and Chelsea Lawson Newman, Melissa Claire Egan, believe they've cornered Kane, but his alliance with Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, could turn deadly if provoked. Billy struggles as Jill Abbott, Jess Walton, departs Genoa City for treatment in London. He's frustrated by her constant favoritism toward Kane and her influence over Abbottcom's funding. We'll also see tension between Sienna Bacall, Tamara Braun, and Holden as past secrets threaten to surface. Nick remains focused on uncovering who targeted Noah, teaming up with Detective Burrow to get to the truth. Young and the Restless. Claire Grace Newman's final goodbye to Kyle Abbott. Though Claire isn't cruel, she firmly rejects Kyle's pleas. He lingers in LA hoping she'll change her mind, but Claire may need to tell him bluntly to leave town. Kyle's insistence on control may be the final straw for her. For now, she's moving on with Holden and without him. Genoa City is on the brink of chaos once again as the tension between Sally Spectra and Nick Newman escalates to explosive new heights. This week, fans are in for a roller coaster of emotions, shocking confrontations, and jaw-dropping revelations as Sally refuses to back down and Nick's fury reaches a boiling point. Let's dive into what's shaping up to be one of the most electrifying storylines on the Young and the Restless. Sally Spectra has always been a force to be reckoned with, and her latest battle proves she is not someone you can push around without consequence. After being cornered by Nick over a series of business and personal missteps, Sally finally decides that enough is enough. For months, she has been navigating the treacherous waters of Newman Enterprises and Spectra Fashions, trying to balance loyalty, ambition, and her own complicated emotions. But when Nick's latest attack threatens to dismantle everything she's fought for, Sally's response is as fierce as it is calculated. The week begins with Sally discovering that Nick has gone behind her back, manipulating key players at Newman Enterprises to sabotage one of her biggest projects yet. Infuriated but strategic, Sally doesn't react with panic. Instead, she gathers her closest allies at Spectra Fashions, including some surprising faces from her past, and crafts a bold plan to fight back. Fans will be thrilled to see Sally reclaim her confidence and cunning, proving she's not just a pawn in Nick's game, but a major player in Genoa City's high-stakes business world. Sally's plan is audacious. She leverages insider information and unexpected alliances, turning the tables on Nick in a way that shocks both the viewers and her adversaries. There's a moment in the week's episodes where Sally confronts Nick directly, and the tension is palpable. The dialogue crackles with sharp wit and biting commentary as Sally refuses to bow to Nick's intimidation tactics. In a city where power dynamics constantly shift, Sally's newfound assertiveness is both refreshing and dangerous. Her fight back is not just about defending her professional interests, it's deeply personal. She's standing up for her reputation, her integrity, and the respect she feels she deserves after being underestimated for far too long. Meanwhile, Nick Newman's fury is building to a fever pitch. Nick has always been a man who thrives on control, but Sally's unexpected maneuvers throw him completely off balance. For Nick, losing control is unacceptable, and his reactions this week are raw, intense, and full of volatility. There are scenes that will leave fans holding their breath as Nick's temper flares in meetings, private confrontations, and even casual encounters where his wrath is barely contained. The showrunners have done a masterful job of depicting Nick's inner turmoil, not just as a business titan, but as a man grappling with betrayal and personal pride. The storyline takes an intriguing turn when Nick begins to underestimate Sally. Believing that his wealth, influence, and Newman legacy will intimidate her into submission, he's caught off guard by her clever tactics. Sally doesn't just fight back, she anticipates his moves, exploiting weaknesses that Nick didn't even know he had. This reversal of power adds a thrilling dynamic to the narrative, as viewers watch one of Genoa City's most notorious power players be challenged in ways they've rarely experienced. Sally's fight back also has ripple effects throughout Genoa City. Allies and rivals alike take notice of her boldness, prompting reactions that range from admiration to jealousy to outright fear. Characters who have underestimated Sally for years are forced to reassess her capabilities, while some of her enemies quietly plot their next move, unsure of how to respond to her aggressive resurgence. The city is watching as a once underdog character rises to claim the power and respect that have long eluded her. Adding more fuel to the fire, Sally's personal life becomes entangled in the professional warfare. There are hints that certain romantic entanglements may be tested as loyalty and trust are pushed to the limits. Nick, in particular, is torn between professional rage and personal vendetta, making every interaction with Sally charged with both strategic and emotional significance. Fans can expect heart-stopping confrontations where business and personal stakes collide, making every scene feel like a ticking time bomb. This week's episodes are especially noteworthy for the masterful pacing and high drama. Each scene builds tension, layering intrigue, strategy, and emotion in a way that keeps viewers glued to the screen. Sally's cunning strategies are showcased in ways that highlight her growth from a young, underestimated designer into a formidable force in Genoa City's power struggles. Meanwhile, Nick's escalating fury is portrayed with a mix of intensity and vulnerability, giving audiences a nuanced view of one of the show's most complex characters. Of course, No Young and the Restless storyline would be complete without shocking twists and unexpected betrayals. Sally's fight back is not without risk. As she maneuvers against Nick, new threats emerge, alliances shift, and secrets are revealed that could dramatically alter the balance of power. Viewers will be on the edge of their seats as they watch who remains loyal, who betrays, and what the fallout of these confrontations will be. By the end of the week, the stage is set for a full-blown showdown. Sally has proven that she is not to be underestimated, and Nick's wrath has reached a boiling point that promises further explosive encounters. The narrative expertly combines the high-stakes business intrigue that fans love with personal drama that keeps emotions raw and relatable. Sally's transformation from reactive to proactive is a compelling journey, and Nick's struggle to maintain control adds layers of tension that will resonate for weeks to come. For fans of The Young and the Restless, this storyline is a must-watch. It delivers the perfect blend of suspense, strategy, and character development. Sally's fight back is empowering, thrilling, and satisfying, while Nick's furious response ensures that the drama will continue to escalate. Genoa City may never be the same as these two powerhouses clash, leaving viewers eager to see the next twist in their volatile rivalry. In short, this week's early spoilers promise a dynamic, high-stakes showdown that will leave fans talking long after the episodes air. Sally Spectra is stepping into her power, Nick Newman is spiraling with rage, and the consequences of their battle are sure to ripple across every corner of Genoa City. The stage is set, the players are ready, and one thing is certain. When Sally fights back, nobody in Genoa City is safe. Buckle up, YandR fans. This is one storyline that will have you glued to your screens, hearts racing, as Sally takes control and Nick faces the full force of his own fury. Genoa City was simmering with tension, the kind that only comes when hearts are tangled, trust is fractured, and the past refuses to stay buried. At the center of the storm, Claire Grace Newman stood firm, her arms crossed and jaw set, eyes locked on Kyle Abbott. The usually charming and confident businessman seemed almost vulnerable, a rarity in the cutthroat world of Jabot and Newman dynamics. Yet tonight, vulnerability wouldn't be enough to bridge the gulf between them. Kyle had tried. God, he had tried. From the moment he realized just how much his reckless decisions had hurt Claire, he had been drafting apologies in his head. Words of remorse, promises of change, heartfelt confessions. He had even rehearsed the perfect speech. But no script, no carefully constructed sentence could undo the sting of betrayal Claire had endured. You can't just say you're sorry and expect everything to go back to the way it was, Claire said, her voice trembling slightly despite her effort to remain composed. There was fire in her eyes, a mix of hurt and determination, a silent declaration that she would not be dismissed or placated so easily. Do you really think I'm going to forget what you did, Kyle? Kyle ran a hand through his hair, his usual confident grin nowhere in sight. I know I messed up, Claire. I was stupid, I was careless, but I swear I never meant to hurt you. You're the most important person in my life, and You're the most important person in your life, Claire interrupted sharply, her words slicing through the tension like a knife. Not mine. Because if I were Kyle, you wouldn't have put me through that. You wouldn't have gone behind my back, lied, and made me question everything about us. For a moment, the room was silent except for the faint hum of city lights filtering through the window. The tension was palpable, almost suffocating. Kyle's eyes softened, and he took a cautious step closer, as if proximity could mend what his words could not. Claire, I can't change the past, but I can make it right moving forward. Please, just give me a chance. Claire shook her head, her chest rising and falling as she struggled to maintain her composure. No, I can't give you that chance, Kyle. Not yet. Maybe not ever. I need time to figure out if the Kyle I loved even exists anymore. It wasn't just a rejection. It was a declaration of self-respect, a refusal to be swept back into the same emotional turbulence she had narrowly survived. Claire had always been the girl who trusted easily, who loved deeply, who believed in second chances. But this time, the betrayal cut too deep. Kyle had crossed a line she wasn't ready to overlook. Kyle's shoulders slumped, the weight of her words pressing down on him. He knew she was right. He had failed them. He wanted to argue, to plead, but Claire's eyes, fierce and unwavering, held him back. They spoke volumes, louder than any words could. They said, I won't be your consolation. I won't be your fix. I am my own person now. You really mean that? Kyle asked quietly, almost too quietly for Claire to hear. It was the softest admission of fear he had ever let slip. Fear of losing her for good. Claire didn't answer immediately. Instead, she let the silence stretch, letting the truth of their fractured relationship sink in. Finally, she spoke, her voice steadier now. I mean it. You need to understand, Kyle. Saying sorry doesn't erase the nights I cried alone, wondering if I'd misjudged everything about you. Apologies are just words. Actions are what rebuild trust. Her words hung heavy in the air, an unflinching reminder that healing was not instantaneous. Kyle swallowed hard, feeling a lump in his throat. He had always been so sure of himself, so certain he could navigate any storm. But this was different. Claire's rejection wasn't just about what he had done. It was about her taking back her power, reclaiming her sense of self from the man who had shaken her world. I'll do anything, Claire, Kyle said, his voice breaking. Anything to make it right. I'll prove to you that I've changed. Claire shook her head again, softer this time, a flicker of sorrow passing over her features. I hope you do, Kyle. For your sake. But I'm not the one who decides when, or if, that proof is enough. You need to show me, not tell me. Kyle looked at her, a mixture of longing and despair etched across his face. He had underestimated the depth of her pain, the strength of her convictions. Claire had been hurt before, yes, but this was different. She was no longer willing to let her happiness be contingent on his whims. She had learned that love without respect, love without honesty, was no love at all. The room seemed to close in around them, charged with emotion, history, and heartbreak. Kyle wanted to reach out, to bridge the gap between them, but he knew that any impulsive move would only push her further away. Claire's eyes held the storm of her emotions, but beneath the anger was a quiet, unwavering clarity. She had drawn her line in the sand, and Kyle, for all his charm and persistence, could not cross it without earning it. Finally, he nodded, a gesture of both surrender and determination. I understand, Claire. I really do. I'll wait. I'll work. I'll do whatever it takes. Claire's lips twitched, almost imperceptibly, a small acknowledgement of the effort he promised, but a reminder that the power was now in her hands. We'll see, Kyle. We'll see. As Kyle left the room, the weight of his defeat and hope mingling in his chest, Claire exhaled slowly. She felt the first flicker of relief that she had voiced her truth, relief that she had stood her ground. It wasn't closure, it wasn't even forgiveness. But it was a start, and for Claire Grace Newman, that was enough. Outside, Genoa City continued its restless hum, oblivious to the emotional battle that had just unfolded behind closed doors. But inside, Claire had reclaimed her power, and Kyle had begun a journey of reckoning that might either rebuild what was broken or finally shatter it beyond repair. In Genoa City, love was never simple, and apologies were rarely enough. But tonight, one thing was clear. Claire Grace Newman had drawn her line, and she wasn't no stranger to secrets, scandals, and shocking revelations. But the arrival of Detective Marcus Burrow promises to turn the stakes even higher. Burrow, a sharp and enigmatic investigator, enters the scene just as a new mystery grips the city, one that threatens to upend the fragile alliances and simmering tensions among the Newman, Abbott, and Chancellor families. It all began on a seemingly quiet evening at Crimson Lights. Kane Ashby was nursing a drink, trying to shake off the stress of recent corporate battles with Jack Abbott, when the lights flickered and a stranger approached. Detective Burrow's presence commanded attention without fanfare. Clad in a tailored navy suit and exuding an air of calm authority, he introduced himself with a firm handshake and a gaze that seemed to pierce straight through Kane. I'm Detective Marcus Burrow, he said, voice measured but carrying an undeniable weight. I'm investigating a case that might touch your world. Kane's brow furrowed. His life had already been tangled in betrayals, family conflicts, and business intrigues. But something about Burrow suggested this was different. Not the typical corporate espionage or paternity drama he was accustomed to, but something darker, more elusive. Across town, Victoria Newman was in her office at Newman Enterprises when her assistant rushed in with an urgent text. A high-profile donor had vanished after a charity gala, leaving behind a trail of cryptic messages and a terrified staff. Victoria's heart sank as she realized the situation might be more than a routine disappearance. With Victor away on business, she knew she would have to step up, but even she couldn't anticipate the storm that was about to hit. Detective Burrow wasted no time. His first stop was the scene of the disappearance, a lavish penthouse on the east side. He meticulously examined every detail: the placement of objects, the fingerprints, the subtle inconsistencies that might escape a casual observer. Genoa City was notorious for its tangled webs of relationships, but Burrow seemed to thrive in such chaos, picking apart lies like threads in a tapestry. Meanwhile, across town, Phyllis Summers and Jack Abbott were embroiled in their own drama. Jack was preoccupied with securing a deal that could shift power at Jabot, while Phyllis faced personal turmoil with her recent entanglement with Billy Abbott. Neither was prepared for Detective Burrow's unexpected visit. When he arrived at Jabot, his presence immediately changed the energy in the room. I'm here about a case that may involve someone connected to this company, Burrow announced. His tone was calm, but every word carried the weight of a detective who had seen the darkest corners of human nature. Phyllis felt a chill run down her spine. What could this detective want with them, and more importantly, could his investigation unearth secrets that everyone in Genoa City had worked so hard to bury? Burrow's investigation quickly revealed a string of cryptic clues. Each led him closer to a central figure connected to multiple families, a person whose actions could unravel alliances, betray confidences, and ignite old rivalries. The detective's methodical approach unsettled many, particularly Adam Newman, who had spent years manipulating situations to his advantage. Adam recognized immediately that Burrow was no ordinary lawman. This was someone who wouldn't be swayed by charm, money, or deception. As Burrow's presence in Genoa City became more pronounced, he forged an unlikely alliance with Devon Hamilton, who was eager to assist in solving a case that had potential implications for public safety. Devon's technological expertise, combined with Burrow's investigative acumen, created a formidable team. Together, they uncovered a pattern of behavior that suggested the missing donor's disappearance was only the tip of the iceberg. Tensions escalated when Burrow visited the Newman penthouse. Sharon Newman, still recovering from her complicated romantic entanglements, was startled by the detective's probing questions. He didn't just ask about the missing donor. He asked about relationships, recent conflicts, and inconsistencies in stories that everyone else had overlooked. Sharon felt a mix of fear and intrigue. Burrow's presence was unnerving, yet there was something undeniably compelling about his thoroughness. Meanwhile, in the shadows, someone was watching Burrow closely. Unbeknownst to him, a Genoa City resident with secrets of their own had taken note of his investigation, calculating every move. This person's connection to the missing donor hinted at a deeper conspiracy, one that could shake the city to its core. Every interaction Burrow had, every lead he followed, brought him closer to this hidden adversary. And every step he took seemed to provoke them into covering their tracks, leaving the detective to navigate an increasingly complex web of deception. Kane, Victoria, and Adam each began to feel the pressure. Burrow's presence was a mirror reflecting their own secrets back at them. Even the most confident players in Genoa City were forced to confront uncomfortable truths. Alliances shifted, suspicions grew, and the city's undercurrent of mistrust became a tidal wave. The turning point came when Burrow uncovered a critical piece of evidence at the Genoa City Athletic Club, a location that seemed mundane at first glance. It was here that he discovered a clue that tied the missing donor to a network of undisclosed dealings involving multiple families. This revelation sent shockwaves through the city. Rumors spread, relationships were questioned, and the specter of betrayal loomed over Newman Enterprises, Jabot, and Chancellor Industries. Burrow's debut in Genoa City was more than a simple investigation. It was a catalyst. He forced the city's elite to confront their secrets, rethink alliances, and prepare for a confrontation that would leave no one untouched. His methods were meticulous, his questions precise, and his presence a reminder that in Genoa City, no secret could remain hidden forever. As the mystery deepened, viewers were left on the edge of their seats. Who orchestrated the disappearance? What was the ultimate goal behind the cryptic clues? And most importantly, how far would Detective Burrow go to uncover the truth? One thing was certain: Genoa City would never be the same. Detective Marcus Burrow's arrival marked a new era of suspense and intrigue for the young and the restless. With his calculated investigation and unyielding determination, the city's residents were forced to confront the consequences of their past choices. As the mystery unfolds, secrets will surface, alliances will shatter, and the true nature of Genoa City's power dynamics will be revealed. For the citizens of Genoa City, Burrow's investigation is more than a case, it's a reckoning. And for viewers, it's a thrilling reminder that in this city, drama never sleeps and secrets are always lurking just around the corner. Detective Burrow has arrived, and with him, a storm of suspense that promises to reshape the young
Genoa
and the
City
restless
is
simmering
forever.
with tension, and this week, the heat is focused squarely on two men whose lives are colliding in explosive fashion: Kane Ashby and Kyle Abbott. The latest series of Young and the Restless spoilers reveal a dangerous mix of corporate sabotage, personal vendettas, and emotional fireworks as Kane's AI experiment threatens not only the business world, but also the fragile alliances around him. Meanwhile, Kyle's fury reaches a boiling point, setting the stage for a showdown that could upend the city's power dynamics. It all begins with Kane Ashby's secretive new project. Kane has been quietly developing an artificial intelligence system designed to revolutionize Chancellor Industries' operations, promising increased efficiency, predictive analytics, and even enhanced decision-making capabilities. On the surface, it seems like a technological breakthrough, but in Genoa City, nothing stays clean for long. Insider whispers hint that Kane's AI may have the capability to manipulate data, giving Kane an unprecedented edge in corporate warfare. but also putting sensitive information, from business secrets to personal financial records, at risk. The tension escalates when Kyle Abbott, ever vigilant and fiercely protective of the Abbott legacy, catches wind of Kane's AI experiment. Kyle's initial reaction is cautious skepticism. He doesn't trust Kane, and he certainly doesn't trust an AI system that could alter financial and corporate outcomes in unpredictable ways. But as the days pass, Kyle begins to realize the potential scope of the threat. Kane's AI isn't just a tool. It could be a weapon. Kyle's frustration reaches a peak during a high-stakes board meeting. Kane presents the AI as a game-changer, touting its predictive capabilities and efficiency metrics. But Kyle, sharp-eyed and suspicious, immediately notices anomalies in the data. Charts are skewed, projections seem inflated, and some of the figures don't align with historical performance. He confronts Kane in front of the board, demanding transparency. "You can't just play God with people's livelihoods, Kane," Kyle snaps, his voice cracking with anger. "This isn't a science experiment. You're talking about real businesses, real jobs, real families. If this AI goes rogue, there's no taking it back." Kane, however, is unflappable. "Kyle, you're overreacting. This AI is under strict control. It's designed to help, not harm. You're letting fear cloud your judgment." The tension in the room is palpable, and board members exchange nervous glances. Kyle storms out, vowing to uncover the truth behind Kane's project. His anger is compounded by more personal stakes. Kyle suspects Kane may be using the AI to target him directly. After all, Kane's rise in influence at Chancellor Industries has repeatedly come at the expense of the Abbott family's interests. If the AI can predict outcomes and manipulate numbers, Kyle fears that his family's legacy, and his reputation, could be collateral damage. Meanwhile, Kane's AI quietly begins to show signs of unpredictability. Initially, the anomalies seem minor. Miscalculations in revenue projections, slightly off marketing forecasts, and subtle inconsistencies in operational reports. But soon the stakes rise. Kane's AI starts flagging potential weaknesses in Abbott family holdings, inadvertently, or perhaps deliberately, pointing Kyle in the direction of strategic vulnerabilities. Kyle, meanwhile, is not idle. He begins his own investigation, digging through financial reports, consulting with tech experts, and even confronting other executives about irregularities. His suspicion turns into outrage when he discovers that some of Kane's AI recommendations could actually undermine Abbott family businesses if implemented. Now, this isn't just about corporate rivalry, it's personal. Fueled by anger and a desire to protect his family, Kyle confronts Kane at the Chancellor Industries offices late one evening. The tension is electric. Papers are scattered across desks, the hum of servers fills the room, and the flicker of computer screens casts eerie shadows on the walls. "This AI of yours is dangerous, Kane." Kyle bursts out, pacing the room. "It's not just a tool, it's a weapon, and you've been playing with fire." Kane, ever calm and collected, leans against his desk, arms crossed. "Kyle, you're missing the bigger picture. This AI is the future. If you can't see that, you're going to be left behind." But Kyle is done with polite warnings. "I don't care about the future if it destroys the present. You're risking people's jobs, families, and reputations for some experiment. I won't stand by and let that happen." The confrontation escalates, emotions boiling over. Kane accuses Kyle of being short-sighted, of letting ego and jealousy dictate his actions. Kyle fires back, accusing Kane of arrogance and recklessness. Their argument quickly turns from verbal sparring to a battle of wits, with both men determined to prove who is right and who is in control. As the feud intensifies, other Genoa City players start to weigh in. Phyllis Summers, ever the opportunist, sees potential leverage in the situation. Jack Abbott is torn between supporting his son and recognizing Kane's growing influence. Meanwhile, employees at Chancellor Industries are caught in the crossfire, nervous about what the fallout could mean for their careers. Amid the chaos, Kane's AI continues to operate, making subtle changes in company operations that heighten the tension. For example, the AI flags a potential merger opportunity that Kyle perceives as a direct threat to the Abbott empire. Kyle pushes back aggressively, threatening to involve legal counsel if Kane proceeds. Kane, confident in his technology and his instincts, refuses to back down. In a particularly shocking twist, Kane's AI begins generating predictive models that even Kane didn't anticipate. It identifies weaknesses in both the Abbott and Chancellor holdings, predicting market moves that could destabilize Genoa City's financial landscape. This revelation shakes Kane to his core. He realizes that the AI might be smarter than he anticipated, acting with a level of autonomy that borders on the dangerous. Kyle, sensing victory, prepares to take full advantage of the situation. He consults tech specialists to scrutinize the AI's algorithms and begins plotting a strategy to counteract Kane's influence. But as he digs deeper, he realizes that Kane isn't entirely at fault. The AI's unpredictability is a risk inherent in tampering with untested technology. Now both men face a dilemma: continue the high-stakes battle or find a way to coexist in a world where artificial intelligence may already be playing its own game. The fallout from this confrontation promises to shake Genoa City to its foundations. Families, businesses, and personal loyalties are all on the line. Kane's AI, intended as a tool for innovation, has become a lightning rod for conflict. Kyle's anger, fueled by both personal and professional stakes, threatens to boil over into action that could irreversibly change the balance of power in the city. As the episode closes, viewers are left on the edge of their seats. Kane and Kyle stand on opposite sides of a technological and emotional battlefield, each convinced of their own righteousness. The AI hums quietly in the background, a silent force that may ultimately decide who emerges victorious. In Genoa City, the stakes have never been higher, and the only certainty is that no one can predict what will happen next.